Welcome to the Vergecast. I would first like to apologize to our audience for being late, because we're very late. 25 minutes late, I believe. But it's not our fault.
It's raining very hard.
It's raining extremely hard.
Very hard.
I'd like to
and the
apologize
rain-
that we're all so sexy today.
We're very handsome. I will say the rain, in addition to causing some equipment problems here, has also caused this delightful French area of my hair.
An equipment problem up top.
He spoiled me there. It's not.
It's a French
So we
hair
should-
thing.
we
Is I
should-
think what you called it.
It's a real situation. I don't know how to.
When it rains,
it's waving.
it's French.
We should introduce
Everybody
everybody.
remember
I
that.
get very. Anyway, look, this is the Vergecast. I want you to know that in your heart, in your brain. This is David Pierce.
Hello.
It's Paul Miller.
I'm Paul Miller.
Paul Miller back on the internet, but no laptop or phone in front of him.
Also looks a
Sorry.
little like Bono. A little bit.
I mean, the Bono situation right now is out of control.
Yeah.
The rain makes you look like Bono.
That's a good thing. Go with that.
Have you found what you're looking for?
Yeah, actually.
Was it on a street with no name?
Well,
He climbed highest mountain. That's where it was. It was on highest mountain.
What? Totally legit question. So this is a Vergecast. Josh is not here. He's fine. Trust me.
Josh and Rain don't get along well.
He's
Josh
cool.
melts in the rain.
Yeah, Josh just loves the rain. He's just outside rolling around on the street. He brought his own slip and slide. I thought that was overkill, but he's smiling. That's a Vergecast. We talk about technology news and pretty much just anything else,
Various French hairstyles.
whatever else we want.
Whatever's trendy.
So let's get right into it. There was enormous news this week, massive, earth-shattering. I think you all know what it is. I don't even know. There's no reason to hype it up. Jennifer Lopez is the new creative director of Viva Mobile, Latino-oriented phone retailer. They sell homes to you as well as phones. Retailer that has partnered with Verizon Wireless. Announced at the CTIA show in Las Vegas, where we sent not one but two of our editors.
So can I just say, by the way, that this event was supposed to be like the one redeeming thing about CTIA.
This event was
knew it
supposed
gonna
to be
slow.
the launch of HTC
Right, we were
One
hoping
for
this was
Verizon.
going to be the HTC One, or it was going to be some super exciting new thing, and instead it's Jennifer Lopez.
Well, so
being
here's so
Jennifer
the
Lopez.
event was moved, right? They scheduled it. They sent everybody a bunch of invitations to it.
Right.
They were very excited about it. Come, make sure you're there. We sent 2 editors, and then they moved it a day.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
believe.
Dan and Chris.
And then it was not the HTC One, which what everyone thought it was. It was Viva Mobile, a phone literally a phone retailer with a Latino focus. So whatever. So it's like Jennifer Lopez is literally saying I'm the creative director, which she's added to the ranks of creative
yeah, I was
directors in
going
the
to say,
industry.
can we create just a new section on The Verge that
We
just
wrote a whole
tracks-
story about it.
That tracks creative directors,
should, like, an
celebrity
infographic.
creative directors.
We also need-
TheVerge.com.
We
so
need
I-
a celebrity creative director. Like, we're blowing
do.
this
We
if
need
we
a
don't have
creative-
one.
We
Oh,
definitely
man.
Vox needs ones real
Yeah.
bad.
Who should our creative director be? If it could be anybody.
I mean, I would say Jared Leto, but you've got that on lock.
Don't do that to me. I don't mind Bono, but
What do you want me to say?
until the day I show up wearing a vest and I'm shirtless under the vest, you cannot call me that name.
I mean, if it rains a little harder, you never know what's
I
going to
still
happen.
have a vest.
Yeah. But what you have too much of it.
That's the problem.
Okay, so, anyways,
I don't know. Look,
mobile.
who would
mobile.
it be? I would, Vin Diesel. I think would be a kind of a hell of a,
I like that.
or just Tyrese. Pretty much anybody from a Fast and Furious movie.
Shia
Just the
LaBeouf.
whole cast.
No,
just
God,
one of the
Shia LaBeouf.
cars from the Fast and
Channing
Furious.
Tatum.
What about like Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Smart
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Seems like he knows
we
what's
get
up.
him, though?
I don't know.
That guy's high demand.
I'll make some calls. I'll get Josh in out of the rain. Josh, get to work.
Somebody on Twitter just suggested Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he's not like
He's not.
He's
the
not
thing is,
famous
Neil
enough.
deGrasse Tyson would come in
And have, like,
he
good
would have
advice for us.
ideas.
Like, he
yeah,
would
he'd want
do
us
things
to.
that make
Oh, you guys
sense.
have a
All wrong.
science hub. I want to write some stuff for it.
Yeah,
People will take it
that's
seriously.
wrong.
The celebrity. I mean, like you've got the caliber of person that we're looking for when it comes to relation to our field is J-Lo and selling Verizon phones.
Alicia Keys and BlackBerry,
Alicia Keys and BlackBerry.
Lady Gaga and Polaroid. There's Will.i.am and like
And-
40 things.
Will.i.am is Intel
He's also like half the companies in the world.
And
Yeah.
like Beats, right?
And Beats.
and Beats, but Beats is like legit. Like musicians selling headphones, I understand.
That's
Didn't
true.
he do
That's
HP as well at one point?
I think everybody has HP's been around the block. But the thing with Jennifer Lopez, okay, so let's first of all, She's not even Verizon's creative director. Verizon is partnering with a phone retailer, and she's the phone retailer's creative director.
Right.
Second of all, she literally knows nothing about phones. So she gave this interview to CNET. Let me just read some select questions and answers. This is Roger Chang is interviewing in CNET. How does Viva Mobile make money? Lopez. When people come into the store, ... recreated this omnichannel - interrupted by Verizon CEO. The real answer. Okay.
She's about the people, not the phones.
Yeah,
Omnichannel,
she's about the
good word,
people. She has great insights into buying habits. She's working for a retailer. So I sat down with Verizon, with this huge corporation with all kinds of information, and I go, wait a minute. How about the fact that we, Latinos, like to shop with our kids? Did you think about that?
I did not.
Well, it's the kind of insight. It's a simple thing, she says. And then lastly, I mean, this is just the end of this interview. Is amazing. What kind of phone do you use? She's BlackBerry. What kind of BlackBerry? She doesn't know. She just says a Verizon BlackBerry. A lot of people are disappointed this wasn't the HTC One announcement. What does that mean? HTC One? I'm sorry.
I'm so
I mean,
sorry.
I mean, like literally.
And then he like tries to throw her like a rope. He goes, it's a phone. So are you going to be selling the HTC One?
And Verizon CEO
Yeah.
doesn't let her answer. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly, you just should read. Everybody should read this
too.
interview.
I'll tell you if we know.
Yeah, I don't know what that
laughs.
even means.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that CEO of Verizon is aware of the HTC One.
And
I mean, like,
she doesn't want to talk about America.
it is. It
like,
is.
not
This
at
is
all.
like. This is. I think we've reached. It's like this is the critical mass of celebrity creative directors. It's really good. I mean, we definitely needed anyone from Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel, if you're listening to me, I know you're adding people that cast left and right. I know that.
What
It's
about
prob-
like Michael Bay? We could use some more explosions.
We could, man.
Who's the girl that?
Look, I'll just give it away. I'm writing a review of Fast and Furious 6. It's all I can think about. Literally every waking moment of my life, I think about Fast and Furious 6.
Get
I think
excited.
about what I think about it. I think about how I can tell you what I think about it. I think about whether, as a writer and a human being, I can express to you the things I now know about Fast
Do you
and Furious
find
6.
sometimes that you like drive your car a little faster and then you shoot gun
I will say
out
this,
of the
and this
car?
is a line in the review. I got out of the movie and I got into a taxi cab, and Kyle, our executive producer in the studio, looked at me and he said, "God, I hope this cab flips over." And that's just where we were at.
Sick.
Yeah, it was amazing. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about real stuff.
All right.
Real stuff.
Should we talk about the Xbox?
wanna
That's probably
talk
the
about
biggest.
Who
the
is the
Xbox.
Xbox's celebrity creative director? Someone? Okay, let's talk about the Xbox.
His name is TV.
You know
Oh
the
wait,
facts.
sorry. Somebody just suggested Kesha as our creative director.
that
and that's
works.
a pretty
Yeah. I'm into
fantastic
that.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm into
Sideshow
that.
Scott, well done.
I follow Josh on Ardio, and that's like in his heavy rotation. Just
Kesha.
Just cut
Yeah.
Kesha.
All right.
That's all Josh listens.
Tell me about the Xbox.
So the Xbox, there's a lot. It was a lot. It was a crazy day. But what was really interesting is they super clearly knew that Sony didn't say anything and that everybody was really mad about it.
Yeah.
And they also took 3.5 hours to say
I got a lot of
nothing.
reaction to that too, because I was like, Microsoft's press conference was like an hour long, perfect, on point, really sharp. They're like, here's the thing. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's
It's-
what
it's
it looks
over
like.
there, yeah.
The same day, Sony pushes out a video that like flashes
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
teaser images of what the PS4
Well,
might
Sony
look
spent 3
like.
hours and they showed us the controller, and then they're like, controller design not final.
Right. And then they're like, here are 11,000 games. And then so that was the weird thing is Microsoft did everything differently. So they spent, 40 minutes before they ever even got to talking about games. They spent a ton of time telling us about the actual thing and its specs and what's inside and how it works and how you use it and all this stuff, which Sony didn't do. Sony gave
Right.
all these sort of high level.
Nobody
we
ever
love the
does that when they
cloud.
announce a console.
No, they don't. And it was like kind of good for Microsoft because I get that it's, and the stuff they showed us later, like all of the demos we did with stuff that day was like the Kinect connected to a PC.
Right.
So like the stuff clearly isn't final.
Well, the thing is a PC. I mean, like,
Well, right, it is.
so and so is a PS4. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
an AMD chip. Like,
Well, so this is the thing I'm
It looks
so
like a big
excited,
PC.
and I think
Yeah.
we've talked about this before. I'm so excited about this console generation because it's PCs, and that means like developers will be able to. I mean, we saw over the last console generation developers learning how to make graphics equitable and ports quickly for between Xbox 360 and PS3. Right. That took them so long. Now it basically will not take them any time. Like, they're going to be the same games that are developed pretty much in the same way, and they're going to get better a lot faster as far as graphically. Because right now, what we've seen so far, like the Xbox One game demos, which there were very few of, were not that impressive. But no, I mean, those graphics are going to get way better because developers can really focus on
I keep coming back to what you kept. I just remember this line from the live blog of the Sony thing that we were doing together. You just wrote, like, it looks like ... a video game. And like I couldn't stop feeling that way about the Microsoft stuff too. They had all this cool stuff to say, but then once they got to the actual games, I was like, yeah, they look great. Like, they showed the hands of a soldier, and you could see like the scars and the cuts.
And you
can
like, see the texture in the paint. That's the big one that
they look great, but they still look like a video game. And I kind of feel what you're saying, which is like they seem to have gone way beyond what they actually need in terms of just like raw horsepower. But hopefully this means that like a year or 2 years or 5 years from now, we'll be able to like actually be somewhere cool and new.
Well, and also they have E3, right? So like, I think Sony did this backwards. I think Sony came out of the gate with like games, and then at E3 they're going to be like, and living room stuff.
Netflix.
Right. They're going to be like, and by the way, it looks like this. You know, I think that's their E3 move. I think Sony or Microsoft, I think they came out with, here's our platform. Like, here's a foundation for what we're doing. Gaming is the biggest piece. We'll show you some hints of it, and E3 will just do game demos all night and all day long. At the
same time, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, and this hasn't totally worked for Sony so far, but it's a lot easier to get your fans to plug and be into what you're doing when you give them what they want.
And those people are crazy.
Even if I am like a crazy Xbox person, I'm not like, guys, check out this new platform.
Right.
You know?
No, those people are mad at me too. Everyone's mad at me. Here's why.
I'm mad at you.
Today.
It's your French hair.
Oh, David.
Now I'm so like more mad at you.
I've never seen a man like you before.
I have to go. Goodbye, everybody.
Sorry. I should walk in the room.
Oh, you fumbled the hair twist.
I don't know where it is, man. I don't do it every day. You know what I mean? It's like a once in
sure
a...
you don't.
In the morning.
Whatever. Just wake up.
Should I be French today? I don't know. Look, I just came back from Paris. I'm very sorry. I've been smoking cigarettes and drinking wine all day long.
People are so mad.
People are mad at you.
So pissed.
They're mad at me.
So mad.
No, so look. We were covering the Microsoft event, and I was just tweeting, like, this is so much better than the PlayStation event. Like, it's more focused. They have a message. They're crisp. They're clear. They know exactly what they want to do. Sony was like, games for so long, and all the games are the same game.
Out of the Sony event.
Right. You had to like figure out. And Frank Shaw from Microsoft, their head of corporate communications, he tweeted at me, the second kick from a mule has no education. Or there's no education in the second kick from, which means basically, remember the 360, we kicked their asses then too, because they came out after the PS3, right? Like, this is what they're doing. Microsoft's like, we're building a platform, we're going to, so Microsoft is very proud of themselves.
Yeah, well, and it was just
the problem is, so then all the PS4 people got very mad at me, right? You don't know anything about games. You don't know anything about video games, is what I keep on saying. The market is about video games.
But that's the thing, is it's not.
It really
and
not.
like that's what Microsoft is betting on, is that it's not. Like like I play games actually more and more since I started working here, but I was never really a gamer, but I always owned a 360. Like, I bought one forever ago. Because it had like a game that I wanted to play, and then it became my set-top box, and then it became like all of these different things for me. It's how I watch Game of Thrones. It's how I do all sorts of. It's like the default input on my TV, no matter what I'm doing.
No, and I think
like that's what Microsoft is doing that Sony hasn't done, and I think that's like maybe they'll do it at E3, and I hope they do for their sake and ours. But for now, it's like, unless for like a hardcore gamer, Sony has done some cool things because they've been like, here are great games, they look great. You can play them on your tablet. That's amazing. But like regular people, it seems like Microsoft is like a million miles ahead right now.
Right, but so the key to what they're doing is they built the Google TV. I mean, there's no other way to describe what they've done with the TV stuff. They have an HDMI input and HDMI out, and you plug your cable box into HDMI in, and literally it cable box like. There's like a video window that they can like move around and put stuff on top of.
Right.
And that's it. That's the TV integration. They built their own guide. They have an IR blaster that, sorry, Paul. Paul's mad that I'm going to start ranting with this. That's going to control your cable box. If you are lucky and you have a very new cable box, there's a chance you'll be able to change channels over HDMI directly.
It's HDMI CEC, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been banking on. It's a very small fraction of the industry.
HDMI spec has had that in it forever.
Yes.
But it wasn't. It
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah, no, and all
wasn't
the
working?
TVs support it. So like it's on Panasonic TVs, it's Viera Link. On Samsung, it's like Sol Play.
Salt play.
I mean, like, it's around, but it's
Yeah.
like DLNA. It's a standard that everything has, but it doesn't all quite work together the
Right,
same
right.
way, and like nobody's really owned it.
Well, hopefully Xbox can help standardize that.
So,
a
I mean,
bit.
I think they're
that's-
cheating, right?
I was
mean, like,
talking to John Lagomarsino, who's walking by right now. Hi, John.
I love that guy.
I was talking to him about this earlier, and he was saying what he was hoping Microsoft would have done is basically just draw the line in the sand and be like, look, this will work and it's awesome, but only if you have this new tech. And if you don't, call your cable company and they'll fix it. It's out there. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's not our fault that you can't. And like if they had done that, people would have gone on board. But now
Do
it's like
send a letter to your senator.
Well,
type
basically,
thing.
and
do
now
it when
it's like you can
do
sort
it
of
when
get
they put it
around
out,
it.
right? You can sort of get around it, but here's the thing: I don't think even if you could do it, even if they make the integration of HDMI work, they're still missing so much. Like you recorded a show on your DVR, you're gonna have to pick up that cable company remote, and like deal with it and like go into that interface. And once you're using that interface, most people watch on their cable company cable box, they watch the stuff on the DVR. Once you're in there and you're doing that, your desire to like go back to the Xbox guide will plummet to zero. And this is exactly the problem that Google TV had. And I'm not look, Xbox, they will sell 1 billion Xboxes. My prediction is that it will win this console generation.
I agree.
Because I think it looks like end to end a more compelling product than the PS4 at this moment. Sony could change all kinds of things. So my prediction is that Xbox will be a huge success, and that scale and that installed base will like push the TV industry to do something. But the thing that they have rolled out and they've set, it's in the PR. Live TV requires an external device with HDMI out. There's an IR out port on the back of the Xbox. All of that stuff, I'm telling you, is a bad idea. It has failed every single time it has ever been tried.
So
oh, go ahead.
Well, why not? Like, why hasn't it worked? It seems like I'm just sort of shocked that like Microsoft is clearly in with the cable companies. They're talking to the content people. They're talking to everybody, and they seem to have the clout necessary to do this stuff. Like, why haven't they gotten the DVR?
So they can't. I mean, look, what's interesting about the TV industry, I was just talking to somebody about this. The TV industry is like a bunch of people who are afraid that they're not going to make as much money tomorrow as they made today. And right now they are making a lot of money. So unless you can tell them like how this will be additive to them or how this will fully replace some piece of their business, they're not touching it. They have no incentive to touch it. Like people are watching Game of Thrones and Mad Men and Breaking Bad, and the cable companies are happy and the networks are happy, and that's cool. And for Microsoft to come in and say like, we built a cable box, they're like, great, we already have a lot of those out in the market.
Is there an aspect where Microsoft could come to a cable company and say like, look, like people are going to go to our Zune marketplace or whatever it's called these days and buy TV shows and watch them there. Microsoft's doing some more like actual video content on their own services. Like people can start doing this if it's annoying to use your cable box. So if you help us standardize, so it's really easy to keep using your cable box, people aren't going to be canceling their.
I'm sure they make this
channels.
pitch left and right. And the thing is, this is the Apple. Apple has the same problem, right? I mean, this is Steve Jobs at the All Things D conference 4 years ago, saying the technology is not the problem. The problem for us is distribution. So even if you convince Comcast, even if Microsoft convinces Comcast, the biggest cable operator in the country, to do this, they get 22 million people in one section of the country, and they don't get all the people on Time Warner in New York City. And they don't get all the people, the 800,000 subscribers on Uverse or the 800,000 subscribers on RCN. Like, they've got a lot of companies to talk to. There's no AT&T. You can't cut the one deal with AT&T and get a whole market to move with you. You can maybe go to DirecTV or Dish, but those companies are like, you don't want to do that either. Like, you can't put up a DirecTV satellite dish in my apartment building. Like, I could never use that product.
So I know we don't want to talk about Xbox forever, but I want to talk like the game side of it. The way I still can't quite predict. I mean, I think the Xbox One will probably win the generation. I think that's going to be a little less relevant this generation because of the similar architectures and stuff. But obviously, as a gamer, you want to pick the platform that's going to win so that more of your friends are on there to play multiplayer and stuff. So the thing that I'm seeing, I mean, for one, yes, Xbox is emphasizing all this media stuff. And for the last gen, I would have told somebody, get a PS3 if you want to watch Blu-ray, get an Xbox if you want to watch Netflix.
Now Frank Shaw's tweeting at me again. You don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones? You know what I think that song is about? If you think about it, he's always. Never mind. It's a Counting Crow song. Adam Duritz. You know who's always with Adam Duritz? You know who's looking at the pretty girls with Adam Duritz? Mr. Jones.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He strikes up a conversation.
Yeah, he does.
Okay,
Continue.
So,
Totally.
I just blew your mind with the Counting Crows interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a minute. Here. Hold on.
So, but now if someone wants to stream stuff or watch stuff, like I tell them, get it Apple TV or Roku or something like that. Those are so cheap and so easy and in their single purpose. And I think if you aren't really interested in the games, just get that. You're getting a lot of extra stuff that costs a lot more that you don't necessarily need if you're getting Xbox or PS3. From the games side, I really think the PS4 is really great in the sense that they get. I mean, the games industry is really huge, and I still think there's a market for a console.
Oh, yeah.
For a games console.
Yeah, I
I
totally
think
agree.
that still exists, and Microsoft and Sony have spent so much time trying to work these entertainment options. Microsoft with a lot more success than PlayStation, but especially at the first wave of a new console generation. If you rewind to Xbox versus PS3, 7 years ago or however long that was. You want the best game experience, and I really think the PS4, because of the streaming games that being able to start up a game instantly and while it's downloading, and also the streaming options. I mean, for me, a lot of my game stuff right now is watching live streams of other people playing games, and that's becoming a huge thing with Twitch TV. And
I think
there's just so
Sony
much
has
there.
that stuff, but they were leaning into you're a gamer,
Sure.
and where is gaming going to go?
Sure.
And Microsoft is making the same play that Nintendo made with the Wii, which is, what about all the people you're leaving behind?
Right.
How do we bring them into the fold?
Well, and
get them into the first experience of games?
And the part that works is both of those markets are enormous.
Yeah.
But the thing is the part that I would be worried about if I were Sony is that Microsoft will do gaming well enough and they'll do all the other stuff so much better that they just become more compelling. But I think to your same point, the one of the things I think Sony's doing really smart is with indie games. And this is one of the things that Sony has talked a bunch about and Microsoft was sort of mysteriously quiet on the other day. Sony is basically going to have an app store within its store for indie games. So people will be able to publish and put their games up and charge whatever they want for it. And that's cool. So, and all these indie devs who have made games for iOS and Android or whatever are now able to do it in a really similar way for PlayStation, where Microsoft has said nothing. And Andrew Webster ran a piece where he talked to a bunch of devs who effectively knew nothing. And they were like, maybe Microsoft is doing something, but Sony has been super communicative and Microsoft has said nothing. Right. And if the gaming piece of the indie gaming stuff is so big on something like iOS or Android, and it's Ridiculous Fishing is one of the examples Andrew uses, and that game is so much fun and is legitimately a reason people might lean one way or the other, and that's a pretty big win for Sony for right now.
Sony doesn't have. Well, they do, right? So Sony's trying to get it so you play a game on your Sony phone or your Xperia certified phone, which doesn't exist, or your tablet, and you have some other experience on TV. Sure. And they're trying to do it. They don't control
your
all
Xperia
the platforms.
Certified TV and tablet, and phone, and refrigerator.
Because when you plug a Sony game console into a Sony TV, magic happens.
Xperia,
or nothing happens. And it's Sony's and someone in a room, and Sony is don't you think we should leverage our multiple products? And
they're just gonna make it so if you plug another phone in, it just catches on fire. Should have bought a Sony phone.
Sony's blessing is that the only company worse than it at phones is Microsoft.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Microsoft they own all the platforms. They could do it. They're the only company that
We've
could do it.
We've been saying Sony could do it and Microsoft could do it since literally I remember Windows Mobile having Xbox Live theoretical integration 100,000 years ago.
Windows Live still makes me queasy.
I will say that we
Windows Mobile
at the PS4 event, Chris Grant said to me, Sony hasn't said one word about phones, hasn't said one word about mobile. Xbox event, Not one word about that stuff.
No, they just don't want to talk about it.
I think that market for gamers, especially early on, is going to be so huge. And I know that if my people I think are really great gamers that I want to play with online are getting PS4s, and my parents are getting, that expanded market is getting Xbox Ones, I'm going to get a PS4.
Why? Because you just want to play games?
I want to play games with people who are really great gamers, and I,
That doesn't make any sense at all. What are you talking about? You want to be in the more exclusive clubs, so you're buying a PS4?
Yes.
Then you should buy a Wii U. That's your mistake. If you want to be exclusive.
No.
No, I hear what you're saying.
As a gamer, I want to be connecting with gamers with my console. And I don't. The fact that people are using the Xbox One as a really good entertainment system is great, but it matters less to be on the same service with those guys for communication and for.
But that implies that
matchmaking.
people won't have both, and I would suggest to you
of course.
that all the hardcore gamers I know will just have both.
Well, right, and then the thing is like the people who buy. I mean, and I'm one of these people. I bought an Xbox for all the other stuff, and then suddenly started playing games on it, and like. Sony, I think you might be right that Sony's going to end up with a lot of the hardcore gamers. And, like, that's why they showed so many games and talked a ton about their exclusive games. And, like, that's clearly who they're going for here. But then Microsoft comes and says, like, hey, we have, all this other stuff. Buy it for that. And then on the side, suddenly they, like, slowly, like, Trojan horse you into games.
Right.
And then you pay, thousands.
But the people that get Trojan horse in their
games,
games, no offense, David,
are not the people you want to play
I don't
with.
want to play with
That's
them.
fair.
I don't want to watch their live streams.
I definitely don't want to watch their live streams.
My one other game thing is that now that the major consoles will have motion interaction from out of the box default, are we finally going to see? Are we going to finally see actual games developed for those?
You mean for the new? So I think Sony's. Man, I'm really just harshing at Sony left and right here. Sony's great.
Name a good thing about the PS4. This is a little like therapy exercise.
It probably doesn't look like a gigantic VCR.
Oh, what if it does?
Maybe.
I kind of like the VCR look, to be honest.
The Xbox. Okay, can I say two things? Go.
Okay, but then we got to talk about motion gaming.
We'll talk about motion gaming. You can jump up and down or look at your heart rate. It's always spying on you. It's great, man.
Yeah, it's not
it's
weird.
like your own friend.
By the way, if you have
The
not
Xbox One, the name and the design are ridiculous. Flat out ridiculous. Every time anybody says Xbox One, I think they're talking about the first Xbox.
So our
But
big
the
guess
event, when they were
was
like,
Xbox Now, and like that would have been so much better. I want to call Microsoft and be like, no, you should have done
call it
Xbox Now. That's much better.
bad. That's also bad.
For like,
better.
It's better.
For like 3
But
days
that's
straight, I've been trying to come up with an Xbox One name, like tweet that's a joke about the Xbox One name, and then I'm like, I bet someone's already made that joke.
Yeah. No, but like
And you're always right.
every time they're like, and the NFL is an exclusive partnership with Microsoft. Every NFL team will get an Xbox One. And it's like, yeah, sucks for them. Cool.
I can't wait
They'll be
for like
playing
somebody
Halo.
to
They probably couldn't afford it themselves.
buying
I
like
bet.
an Xbox One on eBay and
I mean, it's bad. Like maybe for like the wide world, but and then I keep seeing it places.
Yeah.
Like our readers have started using the numeral. So they keep on saying
hitting the
Xbox
table
One.
to the-
More of the
Wow,
ring.
this is happening.
I haven't eaten anything, so this is going to go from, I was saying earlier, going to go from insane to very cranky now.
So
Like 20 minutes ago.
Motion gaming.
Motion gaming.
First thing I want to say
Can you talk about what the Kinect can do?
You need to go see the post that David made.
The post made of David.
It's primarily composed of David.
It is kind of made
Essence
of
of
David.
David.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And it's him playing with the new Kinect, which has a 1080p sensor. It's like it can sense your heart rate somehow.
It's wild.
match
Oh,
with-
and I should-
It can
I've
tell if
gotten
you're
this
looking
question.
at it. It can swap controllers. And
Yeah.
my favorite thing is like sensing your mood.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild.
That's
it's like if
really
I
great.
smiled at it, it knew I was happy, and if I frowned, it knew I was sad. It's like
And
that terrifies me that it knows that. But
Can we
also,
run the clip? Is
we
it
were talking
possible?
to I forget who, some of the guys at Polygon. Oh, it was Brian Crescente, and he was saying like the thing that got him all excited was, what if you're playing a scary game and the game realizes you're not scared enough and gets worse to like appropriately freak you out, like that would be amazing.
No, and like
well,
adaptive difficulty is a thing. Like you're not like
you're not trying hard
pumping
enough. Yeah. No, I mean that would be amazing.
So
what if the game knows you're eating with one hand but playing with the other hand?
does anybody know how similar
this
it just vibrates the controller out of your hand. It's like, try again.
You're just button mashing. Say it could happen. I mean, it's terrible. Okay, are you at all scared that the Xbox will always be listening to you?
No.
So, unlike the Xbox 360, it's always on. Theoretically, always connected to the internet. Although they're very
Yeah, they're kind of cagey about that.
They won't guarantee it. It's always listening. So when you say Xbox on, it turns on.
Yeah.
Like that alone to me is like there's now a microphone and a camera that's always on. Like I get weirded out when I make Skype calls, and I'm always like, "Hello."
I do
the video
that too.
turn on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about putting tape over the camera on this computer. I'm not kidding. I think the Syrian Electronic Army is going to hack my cam. Cam hack.
Tape over the webcam.
Cam hack?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I mean like it's weird to me that I have this thing that's always like looking at me.
But
Right.
I mean, like,
And this is this. Like it has a light that turns on when it's on. Like,
right? No, I
know
get it,
everything
but
about
like practically speaking, like what's I mean, I guess the idea of like walking around your apartment naked while your Xbox watches you is weird, but like
super weird.
But like, what are they? Is Microsoft storing this data? Are they doing anything with it?
Who knows, man? What if somebody like? It is.
I guess the
it
part
is
that
a
freaks me out
vector
is
of attack.
Yeah,
Eli,
no, that's
if
fair.
We ran a whole story
The
when
fact that
we
you could hack into it
right
is
after we launched, a
terrifying.
few months after we launched. Katie and Paulus wrote a whole story for us about insecure webcams and like 4chan people watching them all day long.
If you're doing
And this thing
something
is still a
that you
PC.
don't want
It's
everybody
running
to
the
know
Windows
about,
kernel.
maybe you should stop.
In front of your Xbox in your living room.
So there's like such an easy fix for this, which is Xbox preferences don't be on all the time. I'll manually turn this on.
You should just be able to say like Xbox off, and it like actually shuts down. And
Right.
then say like,
Or,
yeah,
like,
it's gonna
Xbox
take 10
really
times
off,
as long
I'm
to turn on.
serious.
Yeah, Xbox, stop it.
Xbox, I'm about to
Look
get
away.
naked and you don't want to see this.
Oh my god, Xbox nude.
Xbox.
Xbox nude. And like the Kinect like folds down, like turns around. Well, it peaks a little bit.
do you think
There's a college humor video on that coming, I'm sure.
the
Xbox
move,
does this.
the move and
I'm not
the
looking.
the move and the Kinect? Do you think they're like? It sounds like the Kinect's new sensors.
Well, so you know what's
awesome.
amazing now is it's called the PlayStation 4 Eye,
Oh, that's
which
right,
is
the
terrifying.
Eye.
Like,
The Eye.
they're just owning it. They're like, this is creepy. It's fine. It watches you. Whatever.
What I want like an Xbox One on one side of the room and a PS4.
And they're always watching each
and
other?
they're watching each other.
Yeah.
They're like posturing.
What are you doing?
They would just go to war.
Yeah.
But
they
uh,
secretly love each other.
Right.
That'd be great to
The
create.
Xbox is like,
that would be
I've been
great
watching
to
you for so long.
Create a game for each system.
Yeah.
And it has them talk back and forth to each other.
Well, if only you could write indie games to the Xbox.
Burn. So do you think that the eye?
Nailed
Wait, you
it.
don't like my Xbox Live Arcade burn?
That was a great burn. Do you think the eye is sufficient enough that a developer could design one motion-controlled game that would work well on both systems? Because that, to me, that's the dream, and I think that's what has to happen for great motion games. And I think I'm going to care less about graphics this generation if someone could just finally make real motion games that are real, actual. They're not like you're not simulating button presses. You are really controlling a physical environment with physics and 3D and detailed interaction.
Look, I think Sony made the Eye. And again, I'm just harshing on Sony. I mean, I'm sorry.
You're so mad.
Look, I'm excited to play all of your games that take place in a dystopian world where the government has failed and a band of vigilantes has no choice but to kill zombies for some reason. That looks like fun
Which,
for me.
fun
Sony.
fact, is all of their games.
Yeah.
All of them.
But Microsoft is like, we enhance the Kinect, we can do all this stuff. Here are all of the new features of our Kinect platform. And Sony's like, yeah, remember the PlayStation Eye that you loved so much? We still have it.
Here it is.
We got rid of the thing where the controllers have ping pong balls on them.
Oh shoot! Oh yeah. Wait, so you don't have to use the ping pong ball controllers
You
at all?
don't necessarily have to use it.
But so it's an optional?
It's still there. It's still in the mix.
So that means all motion games are going to be like this.
Yes, you will look like a wizard in all motion
Yeah,
games.
no, like seriously, like if it doesn't come with the
Fantasia
console, if it
for
doesn't
PlayStation
come with the
4.
console, people are not going to use it, and so that means there's no more physical controlled motion games.
Yeah.
and death to the man. That's so sad.
I mean, I
Unless
like
you want
that.
Wii.
We did all those demos. What was the PlayStation
that
thing
doesn't
called?
really come with
the balls.
That has the
Well, it still has you still use the Wii remote for all kinds of other
You
stuff.
still
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
If you want to.
All right,
It's
we should
crazy.
move on.
If you're a real
from the
jerk.
Xbox.
All right, let's talk.
There's other stuff going on this week.
What else is going on this week?
Yahoo.
Let's talk about
Yahoo purchased Tumblr. That happened.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
hear about that.
Just 1.1
Little bit of news.
Dude, that's like the only thing that like people randomly bring up tech news to me in my regular coffee shop because they know I
Well,
write about technology.
whenever
And
you
that was
take-
the one thing.
Really?
Tumblr and Yahoo.
Well, whenever you take
cares?
a shy, very nice 26-year-old boy and make him a billionaire, I think people know about it. You know, like
That's fair.
That's like it's rags to riches. I think people know when people win the lottery too. You know, like it's. I think that speaks to something inherent about like Silicon Valley and technology. Like, actually, this happened in New York, but you know what I mean, like that ethos. You could like have a startup and like make a thing, and then you're rich. Like that's the Tumblr story, and nobody knows what Tumblr is or how it works. Like if you just read like the major media descriptions of Tumblr, like Tumblr, the blogging,
They just use the word
platform for
Tumblr a lot. That's always my
teens.
favorite.
Tumblr.
To teens. He made GIFs, right? He invented GIFs. David Karp, he was huge on GIFs.
See, whoever invented GIFs should get $1.1 billion. That's who I
Tumblr-
give my
here's what
$1.1
Tumblr
billion
is.
to.
Here-
Buy
oh,
all
God.
the GIFs. For
Wait,
Tumblr.
everyone, shh.
Oh.
Paul Miller is telling us what Tumblr is.
Tumblr is LiveJournal for Web 2.0.
Paul Miller is fired. Paul Miller is
no.
fired 2.0.
No, is it the beauty of it is isn't Tumblr like GeoCities for Web 2.0 and Yahoo also spent a
Yeah,
crap
$1
load of
billion.
money on
More, I think
GeoCities?
more. It was far more.
3.6 billion.
Dude, they should
for GeoCities, I
relaunch
think.
GeoCities.
That would be amazing.
I would go.
What
I would
happens on
GeoCities.
GeoCities?
Well, so let's talk
hard.
about the so
GeoCities.yahoo.com.
this is quite a story. So
do you think Tumblr is going to be tumblr.yahoo.com?
oh god,
That would be upsetting.
Try to type it in.
Well,
Oh, yeah, they
GeoCities was
haven't
a
bought it yet.
huge fail. But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
it was.
So they bought Tumblr. They put out a press release. The first line of the press release from Marissa Meyer, the CEO of Yahoo, was, "We promise not to screw this
Yeah.
up."
Right.
The
Which is a
last
classy
line,
move, I
the
gotta say.
last line of David Karp's like tumble post, tumble log, and I had a GIF. Was fuck yeah, David Karp.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the first lines was we're not turning purple. Nothing is changing.
Right.
Like they are going to do the thing where it's a totally independent company. They're
Mm-hmm.
just not going to have to worry about like, do we have the money to buy new servers? Who's going to sell our ads?
Right.
They're going to get rid of all the crappy parts of running the business and just focus on the product.
Well-
At least that is the promise.
And if what Yahoo just did to Flickr is any indication, Yahoo's in a position. Yes, eventually they're going to want to like monetize the hell out of everything.
Right.
But they're in a position right now where they need to build loyalty and love for their products, and they can make things better without also making them worse with ads
Yeah.
and things like that. That's not going to last forever, but I think they can invest in ways that can actually improve these products.
But the thing
right now.
is like, what would you improve about Tumblr? Like Tumblr had scale problems for a long time, but they
I
seem
haven't
like
had a
they've kind of
problem
fixed
with
it.
Tumblr in a long
no,
time.
like they fixed it, and the UI has gotten a lot better. Like this is sort of what I'm worried about. Is like I agree that they made Flickr better. Like and we should talk about this. Their big relaunch of Flickr this week made Flickr way better. And way more accessible to people, and if nothing else, like proves they care. But like, I don't see how they improve Tumblr.
Well,
like,
I think if they want it to be, Tumblr can be their Instagram / Vine / everything. I mean, if you go on Tumblr right now,
no, but I get why. Like, I get why this is
almost
good
all
for Yahoo.
reblogs. Oh,
But, like, why
it's
is it good for Tumblr?
No. I feel like if you go on Tumblr, and this has been a problem on Tumblr for a long time, there is not very much original content.
Just porn.
You find
It's just a lot of porn.
images and GIFs, and then they're reblogged.
Right.
And so if Yahoo wants to make a really great Tumblr app that, and find ways to encourage people to start capturing more of their own stuff and tumbling it,
Well, no, so I
think Tumblr could be even bigger and more important than it already
But
is.
I think Tumblr, like, here's what I think Tumblr is. Whenever someone is like, I want to start a blog, should I go install WordPress or do something? I'm like, do not do that. Like,
Right.
start a Tumblr, buy a domain name, point it at Tumblr. Like,
Call it a day. Yeah.
yeah, that's what you should do. And that's what I think is really interesting is like, that's what everybody on our staff has done. Like, maybe there's one or two WordPress blogs.
I had a
floating
WordPress
around,
blog back in the day
but
and
like,
got rid of it for
Josh
Tumblr.
has a Tumblr. I have a Tumblr. I think yours is Tumblr.
No, I had a WordPress.
whatever.
I had a WordPress
Paul
blog.
still
Whatever
uses a
your
live
thing
show.
from like 3 years ago was.
I had a WordPress blog, and I got a phone call like a couple months ago before I was back on the internet, and saying like, "We need you to update WordPress from your control panel. We can
Yeah.
walk you through the process because I think it's like some security flaw in WordPress."
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, "I'm not using the internet right now. Can you update WordPress for me?" me? Like, they're like, no. So they had to suspend my account. So if you go to
Wow.
my domain name right now,
What's your domain name?
PaulJMiller.com.
That's your Tumblr?
I'm going to prove this
That's
point.
okay.
Paul KJ Miller is not correct.
So you're saying your WordPress site has been hacked?
Ugh.
They turned off your site.
They turned off
your
my site.
That's amazing.
That's unpleasant.
Well, no, so, I mean, but I think for a lot of people, Tumblr is where you go to put content in, and then for the vast majority of its users, it's where you share content from within Tumblr.
But that's how everything is, right? It's like the 1-10-90 rule or whatever it is.
But I think Yahoo is a media company, and they do a lot of Yahoo Sports is like a massive media property, and like for them to be able to say, we can take this content, which already has its huge audience on Yahoo Sports, we can feed it into the Tumblr machine, and those people will share it amongst Tumblr, is like a huge value proposition, not only for Yahoo, but for Tumblr.
Wait, so explain to me what that looks like. Like what? So if I'm like whatever dude who writes for Yahoo Sports, like do I now have a Tumblr and that's what I write on?
No, I'm saying like a I don't know. I mean, like I don't think it's like
It's an API.
It's not just
Don't
like
worry, it's an API.
I don't think you just smash the two things together.
Yeah.
I think you say like, I don't know, like here are the best sports gifts of today.
Sure.
Right? From Yahoo Sports. Sponsored by Verizon.
Sure.
And then you
And then there's like a little
promote
button up
those-
here where I can reblog it on my own
you
Tumblr.
promote those
And
to
then-
the Tumblr
yeah.
community, and they enter the Tumblr ecosystem,
Right.
and then Tumblr doesn't have to worry about because Tumblr there's a lot of questions about Tumblr, like it's full of pervasive copyright infringement, right?
And porn.
But the porn is like that's like a whole nother problem,
Right.
Like,
Well, fair.
right? I just think there's a lot of Yahoo, like they do movie reviews. They have, like they're a news organization.
Have you
right?
been to Yahoo.com lately, by the way?
I have.
Because I went there the other day. They aggregate a ton of news.
They
Yeah,
do.
they do.
Like
I mean,
all
and they-
stories, you just scroll through it, and it's mostly from other sources.
And
It's
they
not a lot of
link
their own
out.
stuff.
Well, yeah, they do. And this is the thing is like they have this left rail where it's like mail, news, finance, sports. Like if they just throw Tumblr in there, like suddenly the user base of Tumblr is going to explode because this page, yahoo.com, just drives ridiculous number of people.
No, I mean,
and
I
I
traffic.
can't wait
there's
to
a
see a
lot of-
Tumblr post that's like somebody trying to Google something, and they just enter it into a text box, like their search query, and it goes on somebody's Tumblr.
So we can talk about the porn situation for 1 minute. So Yahoo is saying they will not deal with it yet. They're like, this is the nature of user generated content.
Right.
And I don't think they can do anything about it.
I mean, that's the reason to leave it, or like at least in people's perceptions, leave it as its own company, right? Is to say, well, that's a Tumblr thing, and we don't want to mess with what makes Tumblr so great. We're just gonna do our own thing and let them do
I mean,
theirs.
Instagram is full of like naughty pictures too.
Yeah.
Facebook hasn't dealt with it. I will say that like as a pure play for Yahoo, like Tumblr makes them cool. And
Yeah.
part of like keeping that cool is not screwing with that. Because if the next set of headlines is Yahoo cracks down on Tumblr porn, then people are being like, well, they're already screwing it up.
Right.
Whether or not that's like good or bad, that's the immediate reaction.
I just heard this from my sister. So like I talked about this a long time ago when Facebook bought Instagram, she was basically ready to like defect from Instagram. And Instagram's her favorite thing in the world. She just
Everybody was. I remember
did
that.
not want Facebook to screw it up. I was like, well, just use it until Facebook does screw it up.
Right.
Now Facebook has added a thing where you can tag the people that are in a photo the same way you do it on Facebook. Like they're trying to integrate that into Instagram now, and she's kind of doesn't like that. She's kind of worried about that. And I'm just like wondering, like, what is the line? What is there a point where just people want their favorite thing to just stay exactly the same, and it could actually mess them up to do anything?
Every time you add a feature that isn't like push this button, we'll give you $5. I think people get mad.
Yeah.
Like Facebook redesigns a button and people get mad.
I know, I love that.
Gmail makes it easier to write an email, and people are like, bring back the old modal dialogue. Like, why? That's so bad.
But it's possible to have just a fundamental understanding of what people actually want, like that Instagram's special to you because it's not about the tagging of the people.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, like, I think they have to. I think Instagram would have added that feature whether or not Facebook
Right, that's the
was
thing. I think
involved or not.
Instagram in that point, at that position, was kind of like Twitter in the sense where they saw that like what people were doing in comments was tagging people, and that's just like a janky way to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So they made it easier, and it's like it's what Twitter did with retweets and links and everything. And so, but I think Instagram's problem was doing this when they're owned by Facebook. And I think that might happen with Tumblr too, where if they say like, hey, we've integrated advertising, which they had to do anyway, or they say, our search is better, people are gonna be like, oh, well, that's just because Yahoo bought you, and then like flip their computers over and
we
leave. And like,
we
that's
attached movie
bad.
times below every Tumblr post.
I will say this. I think Tumblr is whatever. I think it will carry on by itself for a long time. I think what Marissa Mayer is doing at Yahoo is like actually very commendable.
I totally
I'm pretty
agree.
And
stoked.
she's made it like very
That's
like
great.
it's a relevant company that seems like kind of full of good ideas. She's bought 1 million mobile companies. I have no idea what she's doing with any of those.
Yeah.
You know
I don't
what was big for
She
me?
bought. I will say this, and well played to you, Marissa. At our old office, there was the company next door is called Stamped.
Yeah.
Stamp with no E and a D.
It was just like things I like stamped.
And the Yahoo bought them, and there are photos of Marissa Mayer in the Stamped office, like literally that shares a wall with the old Verge office, and none of us knew about it.
Yeah.
Like she came in, she walked in the office, they like took a photo, they ate some cake,
She left.
She like threw like $30 million on the ground, and like bailed, and like
Comes in cash and just like makes it rain all over the place.
like 2 weeks later, we're like reading the PR, we're like, and Stamped? Wait, Stamped? Nobody saw her. She didn't ring the doorbell. She didn't say hello. She wasn't like, hey, she got a
Man, we
crappy
s-
office in this
we
building
suck.
too. Yeah. Stamped? Those Stamped? Did anybody talk to them? Like literally, like we're like, what did they do again?
I rode an elevator. I talked to the Stamp guys.
It seemed really nice. I'm sure they'd love to talk to us now. And they pulled one out from under the rug. Pulled the rug out.
Pulled the rug out from under.
They
it.
pulled one out from under the
I
rug.
think that's
Doesn't
like
mean
the-
anything
no.
at all.
They picked up the rug and picked it up.
Don't worry. Don't mind us.
Perfect. No, but I agree. I think like what's really interesting to me is like there's been I remember this big AOL move to be like the big content company, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Yahoo.
Oh, how
is-
I remember it well.
Well, yeah, but it seems like Yahoo is almost doing it better. So if like, and I say all of this assuming Yahoo is going to buy Hulu, which very possibly won't happen. Probably won't happen. I don't even know why I think that.
I'm guessing it'll
But if they buy Hulu, it's like then they get to between the newsroom and Hulu, they have all this super professional content that they can sell really high end ads against. And then they have Tumblr where they have like infinite space for all the like crappy pay-per-click ads they want to have.
Well, so the interesting thing about Hulu is they just signed a deal to do Saturday Night Live on Yahoo,
Right.
which is like the first step. Like,
But that circumvented Hulu entirely.
Right,
didn't
right,
it?
but they took it away from Hulu.
Right.
But like you see the model, like this is more Tumblr. Like you put the Saturday Night Live clip up on Yahoo and you hit reblog and it feeds into Tumblr.
Right. And then
now-
there's a pre-roll ad and suddenly it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like fascinating to me.
Yeah. I mean, and like, I forget the numbers, but I've read it before about like how popular the Tumblr dashboard is, where like people don't go to Tumblr sites, they go to their dashboard.
Right.
And it's like, if Yahoo can make it so that things are appearing, it's like having promoted tweets on Twitter, like
or
constantly
like
all
the
day, every
promoted
day for
Facebook
everybody.
posts that
Right.
come up in your wall
Right.
a lot now.
Right.
Yeah,
But
a
instead
lot.
of paying for it,
By
Yahoo
the way,
just kinda hands
whatever
it to
app
you.
makers are out there, all of you are liars and your apps are crappy and none of my friends like any of them. There's one, what did I download the other day? There's one, it was like a calendar app for events in Brooklyn. And I was like,
Oh,
that,
dear.
that could be cool. It's like 4 of my friends like this. Like maybe they're using it. And I downloaded it. Dude, not even optimized for the iPhone 5. Like don't do that to me,
Come
Facebook.
on. Come on. You're
Don't.
better than that.
Don't give me that little window of old events in Brooklyn. Like super happy Tegan and Sarah were here last year. iPhone 4S size
I
window.
mean, whatever. I'm going to see them in July. It's fine. Don't be jealous.
Want to talk about HTC?
Yeah, let's talk about HTC.
Now that we're all depressed.
Yeah, I know, really. Let's make everything awful.
So poor HTC. Do you want to go ahead, David?
I mean, I don't even necessarily know what to say. So Chris Ziegler,
Can you cry on demand?
the
That
illustrious,
has nothing to do with HTC, but the answer is yes. But not about HTC.
yes and yes.
I'm trying,
Yeah.
but the tears won't come.
So I mean, is it unfair to just boil it all down to HTC is hemorrhaging money and people?
Well,
Well, at least people we know,
so people are leaving HTC
left and right.
left and right, and then the ones who have left and now are like out of their like little window of like I have to be quiet because I
Right.
just left. They're out there tweeting things like, "To everybody still left at HTC, you should quit." And I'm like, like cool. And there's like another tweet was like, people keep asking me whether leaving HTC was the right decision, and I'm like, no. Like that's just a tweet that exists in the world.
Is there more going on than just the fact that HTC's like losing?
No, so Well, so Chris wrote a really great report, which, by the
which
way,
you should all go read.
then stolen a day later by the Wall Street Journal with no attribution. So thank you, Wall Street
Which
Journal.
we're not going to get into. It's totally cool.
I just want to talk about it. I just want to
no,
talk
but so
about
basically,
how sad I was. And how disappointing it is in a major media organization in New York. You just feel compelled to steal our content.
I get the
without-
paper edition of the Wall Street Journal
Cool.
delivered
Does that have a
every
link
day.
to the Verge in it? The story it ripped off about HTC?
Yeah, I
'Cause that'd be
clicked
cool.
on my newspaper and like my default browser launched, but then it was a broken link.
All right, Chris had a story. I'll stop. I mean, I might go on a little bit.
This is because you haven't eaten in a while. It's totally fine.
What? Somebody bring me a sandwich.
So, I mean, so basically, the two pieces are they've had tons of people leave. Their chief product officer has left. Their Asia CEO
The
left?
CEO of HTC Asia.
Yeah.
He's starting a Latino retail channel with Jennifer Lopez. He's not doing that. That would be amazing, by the way.
Who's their creative director going to be?
Jennifer Lopez.
No, she's already.
Hire Jennifer Lopez. All right, continue. Carry on.
Let's see who else. Jason Gordon, the VP of Global Communications, Retail Marketing Manager, Director of Digital Marketing, Product Strategy Manager. Like it's
Yeah.
just it seems like
And a
it's
lot of people that we
constant.
know. So we know a lot of these people, right?
And a lot of them have been at HTC for a long time.
Right, a long time. And
Yeah.
like, these are the people that we've been like dealing with at product introductions and launches. Like these are the guys who came out with the first Evo.
Eric Lynn is the guy who showed me the MyTouch 3G.
Right. I mean,
Wow.
like, they've been
In
there a
Spain,
long
and
time.
we were on a balcony
what was
in
the
Spain,
Windows
and he
phone?
gave me a MyTouch 3G.
The Windows
The 8X?
the Windows mobile phone, the gigantic one. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like the last Windows mobile phone?
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that thing. These are the guys who they've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And so like this crew is leaving, and
Is it
basically
HD2?
HT2.
Yeah.
I mean, the HT2. I mean,
so
these are the
good.
guys who I went to the launch event for the HT2, and they were all there, and they're all
Yeah.
talking about the products, and like, you were like, "Why'd you build this product?" And they're like, "It's gonna be great." And then we put Android on it, and that was like one of the best posts we ever did. Not us, them, not them, us. We put Android on it, not them.
Right.
Anyway,
But then they kind of put in.
yeah, and they were like, hey, it's the Evo now. No, I mean, like, these are the guys who've been there. And basically, the story is they put out the one, they got screwed by Facebook, which was not supposed to launch Facebook Home alongside the HTC first.
Right. So there was some confusion about this initially. So what happened, as I understand it anyway, was Facebook was supposed to announce the first with Facebook Home, and it was going to be an exclusive for a
Yeah.
while. Like the only way you could get Facebook Home was to get the first for like a while.
Yeah.
And then Facebook came out,
And they
I guess
launched
last minute, and was like, just kidding, everybody can have it, and also here's this
And,
phone.
and I think here's what's really interesting. So I switched from the first to a one, and
You liked the first.
I love the first.
Yeah.
I think the first is really good. And I think Home on the first is really good. Home on the one and on the S3 is garbage. Like it's laggy, it's stuttery. It doesn't have integrated notifications. So like you unlock the phone, you see all these weird Facebook notifications. When you unlock Facebook Home as the lock screen, it often screws up and drops you back in HTC's lock screen. Like it's a disaster.
So you
on
get to
those
unlock your
phones.
phone, like, 4
So
times.
everybody is like the wide world is seeing Facebook Home as this like buggy disaster mess. But on the first, when you're just like, use this as my lock screen, what you get is a really awesome lock screen and then stock Android.
And
which is
also,
great.
like, I go to Facebook.com a lot.
yeah.
I've never heard of the HTC first. You know, like why?
Well, you were off the internet for
Mobile
a
Phone.
fairly
No,
long
I mean,
time.
I have heard of it. But I mean, like, if you go to the Facebook website
Right.
where you like to do your Facebooks, why don't you get told about this phone that helps you do your Facebooks better?
Well, and I think that's why, like, that to me is why Facebook did this. Like, I think Facebook realized at maybe way too late, right before they launched it, was that if they came out with this thing and they were like, listen, Facebook Home is going to be available for everybody, but for now it's just on this one phone, everybody would have been like, oh, it's a Facebook phone. And like Facebook didn't want to do that.
Yeah, they've been trying to
and they've
avoid
said
that
over
term
and over,
forever.
right? They're like, we're not going to build a phone, and then everybody would have been like, well, you built a
Right.
phone, and so they came out with this thing and sort of maybe inadvertently, but definitely sort of screwed HTC over. Because I
Yeah.
agree, like they talk about Facebook Home everywhere. Like I've
the
seen TV
first
commercials.
is not HTC's problem. Like
No.
it's like one, it's a like a little extra disaster.
Right.
I think the biggest problem, and what Chris pretty much says in his piece, is that the management of that company like can't make a plan and stick to it.
Right.
That Peter Chow, the CEO, is like jumping from plan to plan. That like even though he's promised to quit if the one isn't a success,
Like very
there's
publicly, it was kind of a
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no way he's doing it.
The
Huh?
one was doing pretty good.
The one has sold 5 million.
And
which is half of what Samsung has sold
but that's
so far.
still
That's pretty great.
That's
It's
still
good.
really great.
Yeah.
That's still really
No, it
great
is.
for HTC.
Absolutely.
And they have supply issues, which again, management
course.
knew about. They knew they couldn't build the phone this
Right.
way. I mean, I will say that we've all rooted for HTC. I think it's very notable. Again, this is like everybody here uses Tumblr. I think it's notable that everybody has like settled on the One as the Android phone that they carry around.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I've never seen I was between I/O last week and the Microsoft thing this week. I'm used to seeing like 40 different phones at any given time
Yeah.
among the like tech journalist crowd that I wind up hanging out
Everybody
with.
has the One.
It's all the One.
Dude,
like
I was
like
in-
90% of people
I
I
was
see
in a
have the One.
security line flying home from I/O,
Yeah.
and I was playing with the One. 2 people asked me what phone it was.
Wow.
Like people are into it. They
Yeah.
see it and they like it, and they want to use it. I think HTC just doesn't know that they can produce the thing, like then everything else around it is a disaster, right? So
Yeah.
like their advertising, that marketing line, Quietly Brilliant, has been a disaster from the start.
Well,
Like,
and-
you know what doesn't work in the face of Apple and Samsung's like
Quietly
enormous
Brilliant.
marketing budgets is being like, we're the quiet ones.
Yeah. Our phone's really good.
Yeah. It's like
Just trust us.
nobody cares.
Check it out, guys.
It's like Microsoft's thing, like their ad with I think it's a really well done ad. With their ad where the Samsung people and the Apple people are fighting at the
Yeah.
wedding. Have you seen this ad?
It's a really good ad.
It's really well done. But you know what the
The guy
message of
rips
that
off his
ad
shirt
is?
and has the
Yeah, the message of that ad is people who have Windows phones don't care very much about their phone.
No, the message of that ad is everybody has iPhone and Android, and then there's 2 guys over there with a Windows
Who,
phone.
like, don't care.
Right.
I saw a girl walking the street in Williamsburg yesterday. She was tiny, like pixie Brooklyn girl. Like, you know, she was wearing, she had like a flower in her hair and like a big flowy dress, like super small, and she had a gigantic yellow Nokia Lumia 720 or 920.
Oh, no.
And I wanted to stop her. Like Becky and I were walking home from dinner, and I was like, wait, this
Hold,
is not
please.
appropriate. Stay here, wife. I have to talk to the girl with the Lumia 920.
I have so many questions.
It's not what you think.
You just walked over, you
Actually-
slapped it out of her
At
hand.
this point in my relationship with Becky, it's not what you think is wrong. It's exactly what you think. I want to ask her why she bought that phone. Nothing else.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't think you were trying to hit on her. She's like, oh, yeah, you want to ask her
This
about
is
a
not
phone?
romantic at all. This is nerd science. I'm collecting statistics.
I have questions.
This is nerd science. That's Nilay's life. Just nerd science every day, all day long.
I need to know. I need to know all the answers.
You're like the Bill Nye of tech journalism.
The Bill Nye of asking people why they bought that phone and then making fun of them. This is what I do with people at Blackberries now. What is this? Like, it's like
Like,
really
ah.
angry. Like, what is this phone?
I really enjoyed the fact that all the Microsoft people at the Xbox event were carrying around Z10s. And I like pointed it out to
Really?
one of them, and the face that the guy made at me was just amazing.
Wait,
He
wait,
kind of
wait.
looked at it and like turned it over and was just like, eh.
Wait, say that again. All the Microsoft
Not
people.
all. I saw more
At the
than a
Xbox
few,
event.
but I don't know if it was all. I can't say all.
Wait.
I saw
So-
more Blackberries than Windows phones at the Microsoft event. I will say
That's
that.
crazy.
I saw more Blackberries than Windows
What?
phones. Yeah.
And there were Z10s.
They were Z10s. Z10s just everywhere you looked. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I need to know. I'm done. Goodbye, everybody. That's the Vergecast for today.
That's the last Vergecast ever.
We're all going home now.
wow.
We're
That's
quitting
so
our
good.
jobs too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's just answer the question. We can wrap this up. What possibly can HTC do to
That was
recover?
my question.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Shoot.
I'm good at this. I usually sit in that chair.
Sounds like they need a new CEO.
Yeah, but that's like not a. How do you compete? This is okay.
Let's
Let me
give Marissa
change my
Meyer.
question. So I have a big regret from I/O, a huge regret from Google I/O, which is we were sitting there. Larry Page came out, talked about his island, his island where there are no laws.
Invited us all.
and then he was like, "We'll do questions and answers." And Robert Scoble stood up and like teleported to the front. He was there so fast, like.
Who was it that was sitting next to him? Somebody sitting next to him and described him as like getting up and like leaving a trail of
Yeah,
dust
there was like
behind
a
him as he
cartoon
ran.
puff of smoke behind him. And I was like, I can't think of a question. And you know, these people are like, all the questions I thought to ask Larry Page at that moment. Like we're at I/O, Google, all of Google's people are there.
Yeah.
And all the questions I thought of were better directed to those people. Right. So I'm like, I'm not going to stop live logging. I'll just listen to this. It'll be weird. And then I left. We literally like minutes later, I had like my jerk store moment. You know, I was like, oh crap. Because here's my question, and I think it's my question for HTC too. Larry Page, you own Motorola. What are you going to do to make a phone that's better than the Galaxy S4 running stock Android, which you just announced? What is the point of your company? And I think that is pretty much HTC's question too. Like, you already made a piece of hardware that's qualitatively better than the S4. Every single review of the Galaxy S4 has contained within it, you should buy an HTC One.
Mm-hmm.
Our review,
Yep.
Mossberg's review, like just down the line,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every review of the S4 is like, man, this software is pretty gross,
Mm-hmm.
right? Samsung has responded to that by shipping a Galaxy S4 with stock Android,
Yeah.
which I think all of us are going to buy. Like, I think that's going to sweep through
June
our
26th.
staff. And I'm still going to think
I'm
the
not
hardware's
gonna buy
gross.
that piece
I'm
of
gonna still
garbage.
think that it's
Plastic
inspired by
trash.
nature.
If you get one of those, I'm going to break
And you
it
know
over
what
my
nature
knee.
is full of now?
Which won't even
Plastic.
take much effort.
It's inspired
You're
by
gonna
the
break it with your HTC One.
inspired by the garbage dump in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that is bigger than America, the
I'm
Galaxy
going to
S4.
shoot it. I'm going to shoot it with a gun.
Yeah, it's inspired by nature. Nature
Okay,
having
all right,
been
sure.
it's inspired by
Wait,
nature.
so you want an HTC One running
Stock.
stock Android, and that's going to solve HTC's
No, I don't
problems?
know.
No way.
I don't think so. I
That
don't think
doesn't
I
don't
solve
think it
their-
does.
I don't
No.
think it would
It doesn't
solve
solve their
Motorola's
supply
problems.
problems. It doesn't solve their HR
No,
problems.
but this is my question. If you're Larry Page and you own Motorola, and how do you make a phone that's better than the S4 stock? What is your compelling? What is the
They
answer?
should buy HTC.
If you're, I thought HTC should have bought WebOS. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think that they are in a place where Android is Samsung. Like, that's the end of it. And now Samsung is answering all of the people who say we want Samsung to produce a phone without TouchWiz. They're going to give that to
Here
us.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
great. What can HTC possibly do besides ship the one with stock? And then I think we all run out and buy that. But
They're
that
going to sell.
doesn't change the
They're going to
balance.
sell 1/10 of those stock S4s.
Right, but that's the thing is that the people who will buy those are all the people who were complaining.
Tastemakers.
Yeah.
And everybody else, the people who don't care, are just have
gonna buy
already
the
bought
S4.
it. They've sold 10 million S4s already. Like they're already going to buy one. And
so
then
mad.
so it's kind of a genius move by Samsung because they're now winning over their only vocal critics.
Yeah.
By solving this big problem.
mean,
that
look,
they had. The hardware still sucks.
We got
but
a lot
like-
of tweets. So they announced the S4 stock, and I tweeted, I'm like, I'm buying this. And I've done nothing but complain about the S4 since it was launched.
Same.
And I got a lot of people like, you're such a hypocrite. Like, you're still going to think it's slimy. I'm like, yes, the hardware will still be garbage.
Yeah,
but
but
the
it's-
screen will look okay, and it will have stock.
I'm gonna.
And it has a
hate
great camera and really good battery life. Like
I feel
I'm
like
worried
it's
about
such a
the camera.
betrayal.
Well, so
I'm-
that's
I'm
the
worried
interesting
without
thing.
Samsung
And that's-
software.
I mean, I asked them that, and they nobody at Google had a really
And like,
good
what do you
answer
do
for
with
that.
an HTC One with stock? Do you just take 4 megapixel unprocessed photos? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of questions to be answered there. But I think like, what does HTC do to re-enter the conversation as a differentiated
I
competitor
feel like
to Samsung?
5 million phones is part of the conversation. If Samsung sells 10 million
In a
of
month.
their big one, and HTC sells 5 million of their big one, that's pretty much part of the conversation as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but I think Samsung is on this like relentless march to just own Android, and selling half the number that Samsung does is not how you undo that. Like it'll sustain HTC as a business for a while, but like they're never gonna be a huge player. And like the longer Samsung is the only huge player, the scarier the Android
I feel
ecosystem
like a
gets.
third is a huge player.
Well,
It's a big number. Like, and I'm happy for
I
them.
think
I'm glad it's
the
sold
other
as many.
piece of this,
They need more ads with Paul Rudd in it. Is what HTC needs.
they just don't. I mean, They might have sold 5 million phones, but the people at HTC are telling us, "quote They are in utter free fall." Right. People are leaving the
No,
company.
and
in
that's
droves.
scary, and
the
that's
product
terrible.
office, the chief product officer, is leaving HTC. Like whatever success 5 million means is not enough success to like rally this company forward.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot going on there that we don't know about. And I think what's really strange is if HTC really does fall apart, then there
I'm not
is
gonna buy a
not.
Samsung, Nilay.
You should
Don't
do
even think about it.
Well, you should buy a Sony Xperia for your cool PS4 that you're going to buy
That's right.
and only play with elite gamers.
Man, I'm gonna be so elite all the time.
Dude, I don't want to join your social network. I want to join the one with elite gamers.
Do you know?
All them,
you know
all
what I
them.
do lately? You know what?
I don't know what you do lately. I mean, I think about it in my private moments.
Around 11 p.m. as I'm
What?
winding down, I pull up Twitch TV on my iPad, and
not-
then
it's not a normal
eventually
thing to
I
do.
go to bed and I prop up my iPad next to my bed and I watch StarCraft streams while I fall asleep.
Is this like a you getting back on the internet? Like,
This is
this like the OD level?
Paul
of like,
just streams things
I
all
need
the time.
something.
This is the literally
And,
like the one thing in my life that like just uninterrupted from how I used the internet before I left and how I use it now. It's like I just like reloaded the Twitch app and now I'm streaming again. It's awesome. Core gamers for life.
I think that's the Vergecast. Is that the Vergecast?
Wait, can I just say one more thing that just came up while we've been talking here?
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher got on Twitter,
Oh, yeah.
or not on Twitter. He was talking to talk at CTIA, where all the news happens. It was like J-Lo and Ashton Kutcher just chilling at CTIA.
J-Ash.
I'm just not even going there.
Jash.
So Ashton Kutcher said Twitter's experience has changed for me pretty drastically. So Ashton Kutcher is like, he was like the first
Yeah, to a
celebrity
million,
on Twitter.
right?
He like made Twitter.
He beat CNN to
Yeah,
a
he was
million.
the first to a million. Yeah. And he said, where did he go? For lack of a better verb, I think the media kind of fucked it up, Kutcher ranted. I think media companies came in and just pounced on it, and I think that the signal-to-noise ratio kind of stinks. People selling shit that I don't want.
So over.
Like, and he blames retweeting, which I thought was really interesting.
Wow, so he's deep in the Twitter game.
He is.
He's like an old school. He's your sister with Instagram tagging.
Yeah.
He's like, they
He's
brought in
over
that retweeting. You know, Twitter today, that's not how Ashton Kutcher sounds, by the way. He's not like an angry Southern man. He's
how
not
Nilay
always
sounds.
quietly humming Fortunate Son. He's just
He
not
might
doing
be.
it.
You don't know.
Twitter today, they announced, do you see the thing? Ben and I were really excited about it. Nobody read the story. They had, they were at an advertising conference in New York, and they announced ad targeting for live TV. So if you tweet during like a live TV show,
oh, I saw you tweet about that, but I didn't click on
so
the link.
if nobody cares about ads on Twitter. I think it's fascinating. If you tweet during a show on TV and there's like Twitter knows what ads were broadcast during that show, and then it will retarget more ads into your stream based on what you were tweeting about.
I've seen.
So if you tweet during
lot.
Mad Men and there's a Trident ad, it'll start showing you Trident ads on your Twitter stream.
And now ads can be actionable on
Yeah,
Twitter.
you can
'cause
push the button and
click
sign up.
and you send. Oh man,
Twitter,
such an
man.
integrated experience.
But that's
Don't.
like, that's kind of terrifying.
No.
So integrated.
No.
You're the one all stoked about TV
I'm not.
ads. And
Look,
Twitter.
I just like to know where Big Brother's coming from and what it's going to look like so I can be friends with him.
You gonna be friends with Big
You want
Brother?
like a
Big Brother
police
bros.
sketch of what
Yeah, Big Bros.
Brother.
Big Bros.
So I knew bigbros.tumblr. That's
awesome.
That's a porn site. Oh, dude, it's taken.
we're all going to
but
jail.
it's untitled.
Oh man.
All right, look, that's the Vergecast. I'm really sorry we have to go. I have to do something about this hair. I have to eat a sandwich, maybe a French sandwich. What's a French sandwich? Like a
French
baguette?
dip? Is that a French sandwich?
Yeah,
it has
no,
French
yeah.
in the name.
You could put some fries
French
in a
toast.
sandwich.
I ate a lot of French fries.
Is
It's
rye
actually
French?
they're freedom fries.
Frost? Did you just refer to French toast as frost? Did I hear you do that? Don't do that again.
I don't want to talk
Get
about
some
it.
frost and froyo.
Frost and fro, yeah.
All right. Frost and Froyo. That's Tumblr.com. Think about it.
That's gonna take the sort of the line between the East Village and the West Village, that neighborhood, by storm.
I had a girlfriend once who insisted on dipping her French fries into Wendy's milkshakes.
Oh, that's
That's her move.
Frosties or milkshakes?
Frosties.
Frosties.
Is there a difference?
Frosty
Frosties are made
is-
from petroleum.
Frosties, yes. There's a very specific substance that is entirely
And
artificial.
milkshakes are
It's
all
made from the
made of
same thing as the
petroleum.
Galaxy S4.
Right.
That's cool. That's all.
You just
it's all
freeze it
just
for like
oil
an hour,
product.
and then
you
it's a
get
Galaxy
S4
S4.
stock, I'm gonna dip that in a Frosty. See how you like it.
I bet it'll be delicious.
I'm gonna make you lick it off,
Dope. No.
and then I'm gonna break the S4 over my knee.
No. This has been the Vergecast. There's a number
We're
of
so
ways
sorry.
to contact. Yeah. It's the Vergecast. We apologize. You can do all kinds of. You can yell at us in any communications channel you wish. If you wish to yell at me about Microsoft, you can tweet at me at Reckless. If you wish to yell at me about Sony, you can leave a comment. I want like channels for hate.
Yeah, this is good.
Reckless at Reckless plus Microsoft.
If you want to help me think of more ways to ruin Nilay's life once he buys an S4, you can tweet at me at FuturePaul.
I mean, I
Wait,
just
different ways to destroy my S4?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm already gonna have like a dignity issue. Like,
I
I'm gonna-
know.
I'm gonna like look at
I'm
it.
gonna pile it on.
I'm gonna be like, sigh. I'm holding this, and then when I'm gonna start using
I'm
it,
gonna be all like
and the
SMH.
experience
I'm
of
gonna be
using stock
SMH every day.
Android on such a big, beautiful screen will draw me in
Yeah.
past the hardware, past the slime, and into the glory of Google's native experience.
that was beautiful.
Right?
Yeah. If you want to be our creative director, you should tweet at me at Pierce David, because I'm in charge of that. I'm the search committee.
gonna hire
Just so
a
you know,
creative
I'm the
director.
search committee for our
And
creative
Paul's
director.
future hall. What's your Twitter situation like lately?
What do you mean? I'm
Man, are you gonna do
tweeting.
it?
Paul's
Well,
tweeting up a storm.
Yeah.
Here's I don't have a camera on my phone. I also don't have apps, but I've been tweeting from my phone.
Paul's phone is from 1965.
It
We
is.
should all be very clear
So I've
about
been
that.
tweeting from my phone, and it's really fun.
Yeah?
I'm
SMS tweeting?
yeah, I'm doing SMS tweeting. I'm doing like fake like Instagrams and fake Vines.
Somewhere Jack Dorsey just started like
where
fist
I
pumping.
just like describe. I create a word picture for people, and then
Let's look at a few of these word pictures. No,
What?
let's
I'm so confused.
If you do
can leave a
future
comment
Paul,
on the post.
hashtag no
You
camera.
can. I'm reckless. I'm
Pierce David.
I always say David Pierce.
I'm at future Paul.
I've got a future Paul, but I have this new thing I do on
We
Twitter
should
where I
plug
just
our
make
Twitter
up
handles a
what I
little more.
believe the Twitter handle should be, and I just get them
Nice.
wrong left and right.
I like that.
You can leave a comment. I don't know. You can call someone. You can talk to your mom. We'll be back. I assume people talk to their parents.
If you see a
about us.
TV ad,
should.
you could probably see like a ad tweet.
You
and
can
then
you
there's
can
like a
you buy a
thing,
promoted post for your shitty app that doesn't have an iPhone 5.
and then like Tumblr
optimization.
gets totally messed up because of the big corporations.
Yeah. Yeah. You can rage against the machine in any format you
and
wish.
then IR blasters.
Yeah.
and let's just all have some frosties.
You can try to change your channel using your Xbox,
Yeah.
just screaming at it. Xbox nude. Goodbye.
Paul.